Hello and welcome to the Armory. Today we are going to be going over some videos that we took of our range visit. Now this is our first time being out at an outdoor range in a long time. Actually, to be honest, I haven't been to an outdoor range since after my dad passed away, which has been over 4 years now. Me and him, we used to go all the time. So this range is a new range for me. So my first time out, I took a few firearms out. Every firearm that you're going to see on this video, except for one, I've never shot before until I recorded myself shooting them for the first time. The 1916 Spanish Mauser is the only one I've shot because that was a project me and my dad started together years ago. And the ammo that we were using is the same ammo that we used when we originally test fired it after we restored it. We found that it was having light primer strikes, so it wasn't setting off the round. Came to find out it just needed a firing pin. It sat in the back of the safe for quite a while until I got a new firing pin for it. And so we did have one mishap for that. You may have already seen the video I posted on that. But it's going to be back in here. So we do have that. But if you like firearm related content, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really will help us out with growing as a channel and being able to bring out more content for you. We do have quite a bit more coming. If you look at the table in the back here, we are currently waiting on some parts for our M16A2 clone project. All we're waiting on for that now is the barrel and receiver. I am still waiting on our order from Royal Tiger. That one, it's probably nothing that's ever going to get shot, but this is my first order from Royal Tiger, so I was going to do a video just for you guys to see what you can expect to get, especially on something that's from the 1870s, 1880s. So without further ado, let's get to our range video. All right, so here we have our 1916. As you can see the primers with the light strikes in it. This was from when we originally restored this rifle, and we took it out to the range. We used the same exact ammo and had nothing but issues. Where we are at is at the 200-yard range, and we're just making sure everything's functioning, cycling, and working correct before we work on our accuracy here. This one was a complete restoration, but everything was working very well for us on this. Until you'll see. All the rounds were feeding fine. I didn't realize at the time that the camera was facing so low down. I tried to get different angles. We'll fix that in future videos. As I said, this is my first time at this range. So you'll notice that big fireball that came out the end. That round was probably overcharged. But what you'll notice here coming up after I reload, you'll notice when I put the rounds in, when I close the bolt, it doesn't catch. When I close the bolt, you'll notice how quickly I open it up. You normally would not do that. But when I closed it, I knew I did not feel it catch a round, but I wanted to make sure. That's why when I heard it go click, I knew I didn't pick up a round. Usually you'd want to wait just in case, but what instead happened is when we did pick up a round, we ended up piercing the primer, and at that point we had the smoke come in the face, and you could really feel it. It was a little bit of a stingy kind of feeling, and we were done shooting that rifle for the day at that point, and actually we're going to be completely done with that ammo. We then moved on to the Berthier carbine that we restored. And you'll hear me grunt, but that's because I wasn't expecting the kick on it. It's such a light rifle. It's, as I said, it's such a light rifle with such a powerful round that it caught me off guard. But after that, I wasn't caught off guard again. At that point, I knew what I was expecting and everything. I'm not gonna lie though, it was very fun to shoot. I enjoyed shooting the Berthier, and I'm hoping to bring it out for the next range day. I may even bring out its little brother, the Moz 36, so we can get some shoots on that. But I got a target set up down at the 200-yard range that I'm shooting all these at, and I'm hoping next time to use some steel so you can hear when I hit, like you will hear with the pistols. We had some steel set up down there. I seem to be having an issue with the second round of every clip. But what you see there is when it fell out, I noticed that the casing was ruptured. So I wanted to take a quick look at that to make sure we had nothing more major going on. But all in all, I mean, this was a really fun gun to shoot. But now we move on to the Pattern 14, and I shot this one more than we're going to see in the video. The camera angles were not the best, and so I just did not include them because half the rifle was missing out of the picture. But to be honest, with that 303 round, it was a very soft shooting because of the weight of the rifle. And I absolutely loved it. It was highly accurate. I got good groupings with it. It's just an amazing firearm altogether. Heavy and long, but that all helps it. But after that, I did try to shoot a few others, but we went to the pistol range, and I had steel targets set up at the 15 and at the 25. And the targets that were at the 25 yards were, I would say, about just a little larger than a cup coaster for the table. But here, what we're shooting is a Spanish dreadnought. So dramatic of a name. In 32 long, 30 or otherwise 32 Smith & Wesson long. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun to shoot. Practical for self-defense, no, but fun to take to the range, yes. At that 25-yard target, it was all over the place. I hate to say that. I'm also shooting it one-handed at the time, but at the 15-yard target I had set up, which was a dog target, pretty much, it would hit its target. But pretty much it's a scaled down version of a Smith & Wesson Model 10, which when we get our victory up, I'll put them side to side so you can see those together. But it's a neat little gun for being over 100 years old. It really lacked markings, and they didn't really start putting markings on them until after 1924. So getting an exact date of manufacturer is pretty hard to figure out, to be honest. And then we moved over to our Webley, which was shaved to accept 45 ACP, which we don't want to do. So we're using the Steinle ammo here. And we are shooting at right here's the 15-yard target. And then we're going to come up to the 25-yard target. And I was for at the 25-yard target, I'd sometimes hit the target, but other times I'd be just barely around the target. But honestly, that thing's a fun gun to shoot. It's unique. It was one of my always wanted to have kind of guns, just because of video games. And when I finally got it, I was really looking forward to shooting it. And we finally got to. Thanks to Steinle. Or Steinel, I'm sorry. Steinle or Steinel, I can't remember. Sorry, I corrected myself. It's Steinel. Of which is out of Ohio. And then we come over to our 1911, our Rock Island 1911, that we just did a review on, that many of you have already seen. And if you haven't seen it, I'll have it linked in the description below. But I'll be honest, I love shooting it, and it's going to be one of those mainstays that comes to the range with me, so it gets a lot more rounds put through it. Just recently, I bought more ammo for it. I got it from a surplus. I think it's the Cellar and Bellet is what I got for it, and that's what I'm shooting in it here. And it held up pretty well, actually. I used to completely hate 1911s, but this one really changed my mind, because the other one I have, I should take it to the range, our next range day, and put them side by side, so you can actually see what I was talking about is the hit and miss. Now, I was running some drills trying to work on my speed, but this was my first time to the range in a little while, because I had broken my hands in a motorcycle accident. And so I was trying to get my dexterity and everything back up. Work my way back up to the accuracy I used to have. As you can see, I was using Cellar and Bellet. Now, one thing I didn't put in the video here with the Steyr AUG, this is going to be a fun shoot, and we're going to do a lot more video recording on this, but we did have some issues. The first issue we had was with the polymer mag I had with it. It was another 20-round mag, thanks to YouTube. But on the third round, or the last round, because when I sight things in, I like to use 3 rounds at a time. And it would jam up the rifle. Like, the round would just slip halfway in and the bolt would hit the side of the casing. So I went with this old 20 rounder, that we're having here in the M16 for that. And the M16 itself was pretty fun to shoot. The only reason we didn't shoot the Steyr as much, the screws in the for the rail came loose, so we had to go deal with that. But this M16 that we built, we have the FN receiver on it, and it performed flawlessly. We sighted it in at 25 yards, and right here we're at 100 yards, and we're just hitting our target. We then will move over to the 200 yard, which I only included a short clip on, and we're using a paper target. And with that, I'm just, as you can see here, I'm using binoculars to see where my rounds are hitting. And so the 100 and 200 yard I could use from the same bench here. So at this point, I just wanted to see where my rounds were hitting on the 200 yard target. So I took one shot, and I was hitting right where I thought I was hitting. So this was the video of what we did on our first range day, and to be honest, it was the first time I've been to the range since I broke my hands in a motorcycle accident. So I had a little bit of difficulty, as again, it's been a while, but we are, with weather warming up, we are going to be spending a lot more time at the range, and we're going to be shooting a lot of the guns you see behind us here. So hit that like and subscribe, join us. We are going to review firearms. We are going to talk about the history of the firearms, and we are going to shoot the firearms. So until next time, we hope to see you again.